Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Arsenal only in Tottenham. How are you doing?
We'd love to see it. I'm good. I'm glad we got the 3 points.
Yeah, it's been a while since we've all kind of been in the room together. Mitch, how's it going?
Good. I feel like it's been a long, long time because my alarms didn't go off for Brighton and we had an international break 3 weeks into the season.
What time is it right now? So just so I can gauge.
For me, 10 a.m.
Yeah, I could say it's noon for me. So
That's like a triple espresso for you. A North London derby win at like,
Yeah.
4 in the morning. Fuck me.
yeah, it started at 9 a.m. for me.
So look, Arsenal have won our last 2 games there, and there's been a bit of a shift in terms of how I feel about North London derbies in general. I don't know about you guys, but there was that weird period between like 2000 and basically Harry Kane's time at Tottenham. There was a weird period where I didn't really have the confidence going into these games. But today, personally, it was just a routine. It was going to be a routine win, and that's what it turned out to be. But just the mood around the city and everyone was like hyping up. And I was like, yeah, it's North London derby, but we're going to win, and we're going to win pretty unbothered as well. I don't know if you guys had the same vibe as well.
I can't say I did. And I think under normal circumstances, I would be with you. But the fact that we knew more than likely we were going into this game without our starting midfield and without 2 of our most important players, I wasn't feeling great about it. I didn't think we were going to lose, but I was not excited for the prospect of the lineup we were about to put out, particularly in the midfield. What scared me in particular, and I think something that we did see in the game, was not having Declan Rice and having Five and Jorginho as our midfield pairing meant that we were very susceptible to wide open spaces. Granted, we're lucky that we have Saliba and Gabriel, who are fucking incredible.
It's true.
But our midfield did not help us out in transition, and that's how Spurs likes to play. So that was always going to be something that was on the back of my mind and scaring me going into this game.
So going into the game in general, looking at both lineups, Gabby, I want to know, you looked at Tottenham and you're thinking, okay, this is pretty much their strongest 11.
Bold of you to assume I looked at Tottenham's lineup. I didn't give a fuck who they were playing. I was like, listen, I know they're probably going to play Brendan Johnson, and I was right, and I was like, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
And the only really threat that I thought they had, I mean, Solanke's still getting into it with the Spurs team, but it was more about Son. Son always scores against us, so the fact that he didn't score in this game was great for me.
So I personally think just looking at the I suppose what's the word I'm looking for, the matchups for what Arsenal were going to have to face against Tottenham, what Tottenham will have to face against us. Both our centre-backs are fantastic at coming out and defending the wide spaces, like Mitch has said. Tottenham, on the other hand, not so much. And we know how high they love to push with their fullbacks and whatever else. I was just looking at thinking Saka and Martinelli should be having fun today. And I think we were right, to be honest. For the most part, I think that's where the gaps were. But just in terms of how Arsenal had to deal with the fact that, look, we don't have our 2 best midfielders by far. Did you expect us to line up slightly differently? Do you expect us to not go with the experience heads and maybe throw a bit of razzle dazzle in there?
Was that to me?
Anyone?
Okay. I'll go. No. I know my manager. I know my manager. I was like, we're going to see Georgie and Party in the midfield, which is what I didn't want to see. I wanted him to be brave. And I saw a lot of people making makeshift lineups with Saka in the midfield and stuff like that. And I was like, that's not going to happen. That's a little bit too much for Arteta. But I kind of wanted him to be brave and put Ethan or at least start Sterling in there. Throw someone who we don't normally play in there. But yeah, he went with what was more defensively, quote unquote, defensively sound.
Fair enough. I think I'm very much with you in the sense that I would have loved to have seen a wild card there, but just looking at Tottenham are a creature of habit under Ange basically, and I think it's fair to assume that he is as stubborn as he is, and it's a good quality sometimes kind of thing. It just makes it so easy for a coach like Arteta to be like, okay, guys, just don't give them any chances. They're crap defensively. We'll do what we need to do, basically. And he set up the team like that. Mitch, do you think there was any possibility of Ange maybe varying his approach and maybe even surrendering the ball to us a little bit? Because I feel like that's where they might have been able to cause us trouble.
No, not even a little bit. Ainge told me
Correct.
exactly who he was in that game last season when they went down to 9 players and they were still playing a high line. Like I don't think that there is a more stubborn manager in the Premier League than Ange Postecoglou. I don't know why I attempted saying his last name. I wasn't gonna get it. That wasn't gonna work. But there's genuinely no manager in the league that is more stubborn than him. He was going to play how Spurs played. And that played into exactly our hands. It plays into every good manager's hands because they're a very easy team to break down once you know what they're gonna do, which is on paper every single time.
Yeah, and I think I don't want to say I don't like to shit on players because especially when they're first players. But James Maddison, guys,
lies. But go on.
You got me. You figured it out. But James Maddison, guys, he had a lot of touches this game. I haven't had a look at some of his stats in it, but I just know he was probably in the high 70s, maybe, like the amount of touches that he had. And he was getting them quite a lot of them from deep. I suppose he had to play a bit deeper because Kulusevski was obviously in midfield as well with him. But it seems to me as if he was getting really, really busy and doing fuck all with it, which is great, number one, but also just kind of speaks to his limitations because on the other hand, there's another midfielder that also plays his I suppose, first. Well, should I say he plays his first season as like a centre midfielder, then his second season as a 10, and then he becomes into this like actual hybrid midfield role that's kind of similar to Modric. Basically, I'm talking about our captain. There was lots of comparisons between them. I think we can see a clear difference in levels. James Maddison is fantastic in the final third, but even then, I don't feel like there's much to write home about kind of thing. He struggled. I feel like he struggled today. Like everybody noticed, like the spaces he was getting in, he was only getting them wide and he's throwing it into the box and hoping for the best.
I'm sorry. Maddison is. I cannot believe that we as a fan club, like we were arguing over Odegaard versus Maddison at one point. It's just hilarious. I know everything in hindsight, but that's just hilarious.
No, I was gonna say to be fair, when Odegaard first came into the Premier League, which was what in 2020 or 2021, I want to say.
Yeah,
I'd say the gap between them then was minuscule, just because it was a bit of an unknown quantity and whatnot, and James Maddison had a little bit of Premier experience, whatever else kind of thing. But Odegaard has lapped him at this point. There's no competition there. There just isn't, and
it's not close.
I'm really pleased with the fact that we had a geriatric midfield today, and he still couldn't do anything with that. You'd think he'd be able to have a bit more fun today. So but he didn't.
I agree. I mean, I think Maddison, and it wasn't just Maddison though. Like everybody in that Spurs attack just looked like they were devoid of ideas completely. In the final third, they were just putting hopeful balls into the box, and even those hopeful balls were like crosses way over, things that were getting easily cleared. Other than the first chance, which was I can't remember what minute it was. It was like first 5 minutes or 10 minutes by Raya. That caused a save from Raya. Yeah, I wasn't that worried about their attack. Every time Brendan Johnson got the ball, I already knew that he was about to fuck something up. So
yeah. Speaking of Raya, which is a good segue. Look, it was his birthday today, which is great. To win the derby on your birthday. Happy birthday to him. I'm becoming more and more inclined to believe that he's taken a claim to be one of the best goalkeepers in Europe. Like genuinely, like it's not even far fetched to say because I feel so safe. I said in the group chat with Dean and them, I said that I was relieved when Spurs crossed the ball. That's how well he claims it, but also the confidence he gives to our defenders as well. Mitch, do you think there's like what other weakness? If there's a weakness in his game, what else do you think he has to improve on? Because he's killing it for me right now.
Well, I mean, like the only criticism on him last season was his shot stopping, and I feel like he's fully dispelled that because, I mean, he hasn't had an error this year in terms of shot stopping, and in fact, he's made a lot of incredible saves that have kept us in games and won us games. He is one of the main reasons we won this game because he was able to make those big saves early on when Spurs were had a lot of pressure to start the game, and it was like, oh, I really hope the whole 90 isn't like this, because it was a little bit scary of how I think Spurs started the game like really, really well,
Yeah.
in creating some good chances and making it be like, ooh, we're gonna be missing Rice and Odegaard today. But yeah, he was absolutely wonderful. He's the anti-Vicario, because ball comes into the on a cross and you know he's getting it, as opposed to Vicario, who is scared to leave the 6-yard box when a ball comes into the box. And even if a ball comes into the 6-yard box, I think he's scared to go up for it. He is not a good crossing goalkeeper, and everyone knows it. In the same way that Ainge is easy to figure out tactically, so is their goalkeeper. Like, the best set piece team in the league is going to run circles around this Spurs team. Simple as. It's just that. This is how it's going to go
every time.
Yeah, I think the comparison between Raya and Vicario is actually, I feel like, a very good metaphor for where both clubs are at, basically, and what they're doing. Even the way that Raya forces his way into the first 11, and Spurs have seen that Vicario, while he's a pretty good shot stopper, kind of sucks at everything else.
He has the Spurs gene bad.
Yeah, and
he does the thing where he had his first few good months and everybody was like, oh my god, he's so good, and then he just falls off a cliff. Like every Spurs player, that's what happened.
And they stuck with him. They haven't identified him as a problem area kind of thing. Whereas, all of us, to my recollection, were fine with Ramsdale after 22, 23. We're like, yeah, he's still young, he can improve. And Arteta's like, no, let's fuck him off, kind of thing. Like, he's still
he's such a sicko.
he saw the problems from God knows how long back, kind of thing. I was like, okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you for your services. We'll get someone else in. And Raya is now one of our most crucial players. If we're talking about Arsenal's spine, it starts from Raya now. It genuinely really, really encouraging for us, the fact that we identified that, and now he's one of our best players. I think the game itself, especially after Spurs, made him make some saves and whatever else kind of thing, we took control of it afterwards. After the first 10, 15 minutes, we took control afterwards. And I think it was just about us closing our gaps, closing the spaces, and Spurs didn't have an answer for that. Mitch, what do you think about the chance that was fashioned for Martinelli? Should he have passed it, or should he have, was he correct to score? But more about the build-up leading up to it as well. Tell us a bit more about that space that we know Spurs are going to give us.
In the build-up part, I was like, Trossard made that happen, and that was like a really impressive pass by him to put that ball through. I think it was definitely a makeshift to have Trossard in midfield today, but I don't think he was horrible. Like, it could have been way worse having Trossard being our most advanced midfielder. But obviously we missed Odegaard. It was a great chance that he created for Martinelli, and I think that that's a chance that Martinelli's got to put away. Like, he's a head down player. He's gonna run towards goal, and he's a player who's going to take that shot. But you gotta do better on that kind of shot. Like, that's a shot that I think Martinelli of 2 years ago puts away. And right now he seems to be kind of low on confidence. And it's a concerning place for him to be in, especially with someone like Sterling chomping at the bit, or Trossard chomping at the bit at his position to try to take that role. Like, you can't be affording to, if you're not going to pass it, you gotta score. And that's not what he did.
I agree.
Granted, I don't know if it was as clear cut of a chance to pass as it looked in real time. Like, on rewatches of that play, I think that it was a tight angle for him to try to hit Saka with. But it's always the hindsight. Like, if you have a player there and you take it yourself and you don't put it away, you're going to be criticized. It's just that's the risk you take by taking that shot. But you got to put that away.
Yeah, I think Martinelli's confidence is directly linked to him hitting the back of the net. That's it. I feel like the moment he gets one and he's not thrown out of the team immediately, he should be fine, because everything else, it's not like he's not scoring and everything else is going to pieces. Off the ball, he's still fantastic. When running towards opposition goal and also running back towards his own goals, he's still doing all the stuff Arteta wants him to do. But I just feel like it's a goal. He needs a goal. Next penalty, potentially, I think he should get, just to help him along, because it worked with Havertz last season, personally. But yeah, I think
I
I was gonna say, speaking of Havertz is for you. Don't well, you know Havertz is your babe.
well, I will say one more thing on Martinelli before we get to my boy. You're right. See, in hindsight, it does look like it's a easier pass to make than maybe not, but when he gets closer to the box, that's when the angle like gets shut off because there's too many defenders there. I don't think he can square that, but I do think he can pass that if he does an early ball, which I have been complaining since last season that we don't do that enough. Put the early ball into the box, and I think Saka gets to that. I mean, we saw it last week against Brighton. Kai puts an early ball into the box for Saka. It's just a little bit too far for him. He doesn't get a clean shot on goal, but I think that he could get to that potentially if Martinelli does it right. But yeah, you're right. If he's not passing that ball, he has to score that. I'm sorry, he just has to score that. And definitely Martinelli of old scores that. You could tell in the way he's shooting now, he's like a little bit more hesitant in his shots. He's not striking the ball as cleanly as he used to. He tried to like side foot that or curl that around the keeper instead of just put some power into it.
Would you know?
Because I think that Vicario like parries that back into his own box. To be honest.
To be honest, you know what's funny? He scored a goal, I think, against Brighton, where he's running for a goal like that, and he just toe pokes it under the goalkeeper, and I feel like that could have been the finish today. Like, he's got it in his locker clearly. That could have been the finish today. But he got that chance, and he might have got, I think he got one or two afterwards. But I feel like with Odegaard potentially playing, he probably gets a few more of those chances. I feel like he genuinely does. And that's the level we're talking about, that Arsenal are missing a player of Odegaard's level. We're still creating chances like that. But with him in the team, probably finds him about another 3 times in the game. Like, that's what I feel like I'm very happy with, the fact that we've got him and we can invite him, but also the fact that we know he comes back into the team. And even if it's not through him directly creating that chance, just from his general play of him being able to link our midfield to our attack, I feel like there's still a way to go with Odegaard's game, but the level he's at now, Arsenal clearly missed him, but we managed today. But I cannot wait for him to get back into the team anyway, because I feel like, again, he didn't have a summer tournament going. Haaland started on fire. He's right there. Like, Odegaard is right there, prime fitness and everything. So I'm more than I'm very, very excited for him to come back into the team. Go on.
I was gonna say Odegaard's. I feel like I know that there's. I mean, obviously, I'm not one of them, but I know that there's a contingent of Arsenal fans who think that Odegaard's not good enough to play for Arsenal, which I hate to talk about because I just think it's stupidity. But like, Odegaard is a player that would be missed in any team. He would be missed in City. Like, let's be fucking for real. Like,
I was think of many midfielders, but like, if we're listing like all the top midfielders in the world, Odegaard comfortably sits right now. Like, he comfortably sits right now in the top 5. Like, I don't think there's no.
I agree.
There. Like, he's that damn good. So many, and it's crazy because Sky are very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Sparing. They're not charitable with their compliments to Arsenal players, but all of them seem to love.
Neither is Lee Dixon on the call, so
all of them love Odegaard, which tells me that he's undeniable. So yeah, but I suppose now, like, speaking of Odegaard, we're missing another midfielder today, which was Declan Rice, obviously. He trained with the team all week and whatnot. Obviously, played the 2 full 90 minutes of England. Who do you think, realistically, we probably miss more today? I know it's a very hard one to go by, but Mitch, who do you think we actually miss more today?
I think we miss Rice more because of what I was saying earlier about covering large...
About Odegaard. Wow, okay.
I was going to say the opposite, but yeah, I want to listen to this.
Just because of the covering large spaces is something I feel like Rice is so good at, and something that Tottenham could have made us pay for today. Like, obviously we didn't. So like, I think with the hindsight of how we defended, we probably miss Odegaard more because we probably create more chances from open play. But I think you asked me before the game if we would have one of them who I'd rather have. I'd probably rather have Rice because of the defending in large spaces. But that's not discounting at all, how much Odegaard means to this team. But it was something that made me nervous during the game, before the game, and something I think Spurs should have done a better job of making us pay for.
Well,
that's what I'll back your play there, because if you had asked me before the game, I would have said Rice. But after, like, in hindsight, watching the game, like, they just did nothing. Like they just did
Yeah.
nothing, and I feel like we should have had more like attacking prowess, and we would have had more attacking prowess with Odegaard, and not just that, but also he triggers our press. I feel like our press was a little bit disjointed, and we were sloppy in our passing, like way sloppy in our passing. Everybody in the midfield was sloppy. Some of Kai's passing was sloppy, obviously Five and Georgie, and I just feel like Odegaard is so good under pressure with the ball at his feet. He's either getting the foul or he's getting past you.
Yeah, I think the key point here is actually the first one you made, getting the foul. And Arsenal slowing the game down today, I absolutely believe that's what played into Spurs struggling to break us down, because they were getting loud boos from throw-ins, some corners or whatever else, and just taking our time. And Spurs want to play a basketball game. And one of my friends today was actually quite concerned, thinking if it turns to a basketball game, we're in trouble. I'm just like, hold on a second, it's Mikel Arteta. There's no chance in hell where he's gonna set up like that. But just on the spaces, our 4-4-2, our possession, Gabby, do you think, obviously with Five and Jorginho there, do you think there's potential there for us to evolve it with the personnel there, basically to help us even cut out the spaces even more? Because just remember, these guys are not quick.
With this specific personnel?
No, with different personnel.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say I don't know how much you can do. With I already told you what, if you guys listen to the last pod, I already told you what my starting 11 would be, like our starting midfield would be if everybody's fit. It'd be Moreno, Odegaard, and Declan Rice. Yeah. That's what my starting midfield would be. And I think that would be a really good midfield. You have a lot of defensive cover. I lost my train of thought. Thank you. A lot of defensive cover in both, like, the best duel winner or in the world, like in Moreno. I was going to say in the league, but yeah, in the world. And also with Declan Rice, he just, the legs that he has, bro, like go gadget legs. He covers so much space, and Odegaard also covers so much space. His distance covered over like the last 2 seasons is like crazy. Yeah. So yeah, I just think that they give you. I think you can. Arteta will find a way to pull the like attacking stuff out of Mikel Moreno. I think, which I think we're going to see a lot when he comes back. That might trigger the renaissance of Martinelli. We don't know. If not, then Sterling. But yeah, I think that's the stuff that Mikel's going to have to pull out. I don't think you have to worry about the defensive stuff. Yeah, all 3 of those players know what they're doing.
Yeah. I think that just the Sociedad connection between Odegaard and Moreno would be, it should be a seamless transition, if you like. Unfortunately, guys, we have to do it. We have to talk about the referee. I want to know which yellow card was the most egregious to you guys today, because I think I can genuinely make a case for. I think, from my recollection, I think there was 8 yellow cards between both teams. 8
no, I think it's more.
Really?
It was 7 in the first half. 7 in the first half, and there was at least
like
2.
None in the second.
Yeah, I was just like, there was at least 2. I think in the second.
I feel like I remember there being 7 in the first half. But which one do you believe was the most egregious? Because I can genuinely make a case for all of them not being yellows. I think so.
You go first, since you have so much to say.
Okay, the one that made me laugh the most genuinely was Bentancur, because I don't understand. Number one, it was his first foul. They're both giving it to each other. And I believe Havertz just lost his footing. So I don't understand where you got that from.
I'm going to back my guy every time.
Yeah, not honestly. Pardon me, sir.
Damn. See, he's choking on his own lies.
No, Havertz turned him, he got away from him kind of thing, but there was, that's not a yellow to me. Saliba getting it for delaying the whatever else. But
that's the one.
No, but 5-10 minutes earlier, somebody else did it for Spurs, and Jorginho was screaming in the ref face. There was no yellow.
I don't know if you saw Mikel on the sideline, but he was also screaming.
I can't remember who it was, kind of thing. So again, lack of consistency there. But the whole Timber stuff, to me, I think, Mitch, I don't know how you perceive it. Basically, I don't think it was a yellow kind of thing. But do you think there was any sort of credibility to why that yellow was given? Because he clearly wins. It's a 50-50 and he clearly wins the ball. He doesn't follow through.
I think it that's like a home field advantage yellow. Like, the crowd reacts in a big way, and the ref feels like he has to do something about it, kind of thing. And like you don't want it to be a situation where I think a ref in that situation kind of almost plays it safe. And this is gonna sound bad, like you don't want to not give a yellow there, and then VAR looks at it and it's not a red card, but it is a yellow card challenge, but you didn't give a yellow and you can't give a retroactive yellow from VAR. And so it's just kind of like, yeah, there was a lot of contact there. The crowd made a big noise of it. I'm going to play it safe and give a yellow. And then maybe VAR will send them off.
Can I just say that's,
and it was probably barely a foul.
Yeah.
It is.
No, I mean, like, in my brain, like the rules, you can't retroactively give a yellow, but you also can't, like, take away a yellow if it wasn't a yellow. Like, it just, like, I just feel like if you're gonna have VAR not be involved with, like, yellows, it's like, just don't let them be involved. Like, but yes, I agree. Go on.
Yeah, it was fine or whatever, but the fight I think actually did help us.
Yeah.
I think it kind of slowed the game down a little bit because prior to that it was very very end to end, which I think is playing into Spurs' advantage. They want the game to be more end to end, and it kind of weirdly slowed the game down for the rest of the half, and Spurs kind of didn't have a foothold until the beginning of the second half. After that,
I mean, you know. Speaking of VAR in general, I don't think there was anything that went to VAR today, which is good, you know, but I just feel like Saliba got a yellow very early within the first 10 minutes. And I think if not for him, we'll get to the awards, but if not for Havertz, he probably would have been my man of the match, I think, today. But he didn't put a foot wrong after that. And I think just in general, we're looking about players playing on the edge when they've got the yellow and stuff like that. I wouldn't say the ref spoiled the game, but I feel like a few players actually had to, you know, control how they play for the rest of the game. You don't really want, especially in North London Derby, you don't want that. You want players to play fully on, you know, with the shackles off. So that's, for me, like, that's one of the most boring North London derbies I've witnessed. And everybody calls the North London Derby the best derby in the country. And I feel like the ref, once again, has played a part in it not being as, you know, what do you call it? Vicious.
Intense.
And intense, you know. Yeah.
I don't know. I just, like, I agree with the fact that, like, I hate, you know, I already know that I hate English refs because I think they're stupid. But I just feel like if you're doing a derby, like, not, obviously this game isn't a derby, like, the one that I'm going to say. When you look back at last season and you talk about which we talked about in the last pod, when you look back at last season and you talk about the big games, which we had the most points out of the Big Six against the Big Six. And I'm just like, that Man City game when Kovacic went studs up into the ankle, like, we didn't get the second yellow because the excuse was you didn't want to ruin the game. But, like, in a derby that is already, like, organic, this is not like, oh, they're just going after the title, whatever. Like, this is already a big game. There's going to be animosity. We're playing in their house. We've beat them, like, 3 times in a row, I think.
3 times in a row, including today, yeah.
Like, just let them play. As long as they're not trying to hurt each other, like crazy tackles, do whatever. Yeah. You guys do whatever when we go to St. James Park. Yeah. At least let it be in this game. Yeah. Like, I was just like, let them play. Like, it's fine. Because it's not like the challenges or whatever were reckless. They were just, you know, trying to kill off, you know, momentum. I just felt like he wanted to be the main character. You're giving so many yellows for so many things, and I'm just like, when they said the stat at halftime that they gave 7 yellows, and that's the most that there's ever been in the Premier League in a first half, I was like, come on, bro. like come on.
I mean, and you look at Bournemouth last night, I think it was 14 between them and Chelsea for the whole game, 14 in a match, and no reds. That tells me the ref completely lost control of the game, from his end, at least. But going into, I suppose, into half-time now, in general, Mitch, how did you feel about our overall play, and did it meet expectations, or was it a bit different to what you were anticipating?
I think typically going into a half, if it's 0-0, I'm not feeling great, but I actually was feeling pretty good at 0-0, just because the start of the game was so concerning for me that the fact that we were able to, like, gain a foothold and kind of grow into the game was encouraging, despite the fact that we were missing such key elements of our team. So I was feeling okay at 0-0, honestly. Yeah, it was fine. Yeah. I figured we'd pull it out.
Yeah, same. I always feel like we start slow. That's like one of my big like complaints about Arsenal. I just feel like sometimes we just weather the storm instead of taking it to our opponent sometimes, which annoys me. But in this game, I felt that was okay to do because it's a derby game.
Yeah.
Like we're playing in their house, so, weather the storm, and then like Spurs will end up being shit anyway. So whatever.
Well, speaking of Spurs being shit, like they weren't particularly great in the first half, but they did come out, I think, a bit better in the second half. But I almost feel like it just played into our hands anyway. We're not going to take. We're never taking the game to them today with our injuries and suspensions. We just weren't. But they huffed and puffed a bit, and they were putting balls into the box. But I just have to be really clear on this. I just enjoy it. I enjoy watching us like defend crosses. I remember. You guys remember the FA Cup final against Chelsea, right? During COVID.
Yeah.
And how many headers David Luiz won from those crosses? That's what it was.
You know what was crazy? I was thinking about the one with Rob Holding in the back, and you're just like against Diego Costa. Do you remember that one? And I was just like,
2017. That was 2017.
Yeah, I was like, that's what I was thinking about. I was like, just clearing shit, just clearing it.
We beat Chelsea all the time. FA Cup final.
Fuck Chelsea, but we're gonna stay on Spurs.
but yeah, I feel like they were trying to like, hoping for a lucky bounce and whatever else. But I don't actually think there was a need for us to change anything up. Or correct me if I'm wrong. I don't feel like there was any like for us to even change our shape or even change personnel. I feel like we keep it tight, keep it solid. They're still going to give us space, when they attack us anyway.
But I don't think for sub ideas, I don't think. For more, I think it was more tactics that I wanted us to change. The only thing I really wanted to change is I wanted us to go over the top more. That's it. Like, I was like, we're getting space in behind. We know they play a high line. Like, that's their game plan every game, no matter who they're playing against. Just take advantage of it. And I just feel like we weren't doing it enough.
Yeah, I think we do have to remember as well that, as much as we cuss somewhere else, other teams and managers are allowed to be good and have tactics and have good players and stuff like that, and it's always easier said than done. What I will say is that I was a little bit disappointed that we didn't go as direct as sometimes, because there was always like an opportunity for us to go direct, and we just always seem to play the safe pass more often than not. I'm not particularly mad at that, but there was a goal for us in open play today. I feel like there was definitely one there, but not mad it didn't happen because Spurs are very, very much just as predictable as, dare I say it, maybe an Arsenal team of old.
Yeah, I feel like most of their chances came up against the... I'm always more worried about us making a mistake that leads to a goal or a shot or a chance, like, more than them playing through us. Like, any team playing through us. If you're not City or Real Madrid, I'm really not worried about any team playing through us.
Even City, to be honest, and like City have to vary their approach when they come to us anyway, because of how well we are out of possession. I don't know, like Mitch, do you think we can draw inspiration? Mikel, should I say, can draw inspiration from what he's learned from some of these more terrorist coaches and whatever else. I'm not going to mention any names. So I don't want to upset anybody. But
say one, just one.
I mean, Tosin talks about this a lot on Twitter. Of like, I think Arteta's like a really interesting amalgamation of coaches that he's played under. Like he played under Wenger, he coached under
David
Pep,
Moyes' son,
but he also played under David Moyes, and so he's able to like be a shithouse when you need it, kind of thing. And I think it's an important, especially in a tough away game like this, in a derby, you're missing a lot of key players. You need to be able to hunker down, especially when it's the tactically smart thing to do.
Yeah.
You can't be like so stuck in your ways like Ainge is to be like, we're gonna play free flowing and we're gonna have a lot of the ball the entire time, even though we don't have the personnel for it, and we're playing against a team that wants us to do that. Like that's unwise to do, and that's exactly why he's able to play a little bit more defensive in a game like this, and it works. At 3 points is 3 points.
Well, the goal came, and I think the most least surprised person in the entire stadium, the entire toilet bowl, was probably Vicario. Genuinely,
oh my God.
I feel like he knew. He genuinely knew. And
that guy.
I personally enjoyed it because I love seeing these overrated players just be shown. Like everyone's a gangster until a real gangster walks in the room, and Gabriel versus Romero was just like it's like
put him on a poster.
It's my favorite sort of matchup. Gabriel is bigger than him, stronger than him, just better than him. You know what I mean? Better looking as well. And there was no competition there. And they were talking about afterwards about, oh yeah, you know, I'd be disappointed if, you know, if that was me, I'd be disappointed if I didn't get the foul. It could have been a foul, whatever else. But I'm thinking, no, be a man. like
big, strong men asking for fouls. What?
Defend your box. I know it's Gabby, but defend your box. Like, I don't know. I enjoyed that goal just because it was a bullet header, and we all love bullet headers kind of thing. But yeah, he fucked off Romero, man. Like, thoughts on this guy.
Honestly, it wasn't even about Romero. That guy's a bozo anyway. It was more about Vicario. That's what the commentators on the US side were lamenting on. Like, he should have came out of his box, command your area, and come get the ball. If you're not going to catch it and like claim the cross, punch it. Like, he was just like on his line, and I was like, that's going in. If it's on target, it's going in.
I mean, there was chatter in Arteta's post-game interview from the interview. They're basically saying, "Oh yeah, you know how Spurs struggle with set pieces, and
couldn't be my keeper.
Yeah, and your great set pieces. You know, was it always the game plan for your players to surround Vicario?" And he replied saying, "No. Our game plan is always to put the ball into the box with good quality and header the ball." And then the interviewer.
He said, "I don't have a shit keeper. I don't know how this works for y'all."
Then he literally rebuffed her again after she tried to, you know, make it seem as if like our tactics were around disrupting Vicario kind of thing. Because I feel like he's very conscious of our media perception, and that obviously plays into how we're refereed as well. But he tried to keep it very much about us getting good quality and just heading the ball. Do you like? I want to know, because obviously I've got my own suspicions already anyway. But Mitch, do you genuinely think Arteta is that meticulous where he's trying to slowly but surely change the perception of how, you know, we're perceived in the media and potentially refereed? Do you feel like he's playing a long game
here? Like, in what regard are we like?
So last year we all had the, you know, this Disgracia, Debacle, and whatever else kind of thing, and
that's one of the best memes I've ever seen. I can't lie. Shout out to Arteta.
And things have, I wouldn't say have improved, but there's been a shift at least, kind of thing. And even today, Gary Neville, the way he spoke about us, he was like, "This Arsenal team haven't won a league title yet, but they play like a team that knows how to win every big game, blah blah blah," kind of thing. Whereas before, you've heard how he speaks about us. You know, all these things matter, and I feel like Arteta is kind of orchestrating this just through his, you know, you don't get much from him, but he's orchestrating it through the tone he uses and the words he uses, kind of thing, especially in these sort of interviews.
I'd say our play is more doing that than Arteta's interviews. I think that a lot of people just don't like Arteta, and that's going to be okay and fine by me, particularly outside of the Arsenal fan base. It was like, yeah, he's a good manager, and I understand why he would be grating if you aren't an Arsenal fan. But I think it's more our play that dictates that than Arteta in the media or anything like that, because it's more, oh, we came into a away game against Tottenham without two of our best players, and we grinded out a 1-0 win. Like that's a performance that a team that can win a title does, and not just like a team that's going to be there until the final day, you know? So I think it's more our play.
Fair.
No, I'll go down this conspiracy rabbit hole with you. I do think Arteta thinks about it. I know. Well,
I refuse to go down this. I refuse to be roped into this conspiracy bullshit.
On your tinfoil hat, I've got mine as well somewhere.
Listen, I know Arteta. I know my manager. He's a sicko. He thinks about everything. Like for sure he thinks about the way, like even the way that he carries himself on the touchline. Sometimes he has to like pull himself back because he is a passionate manager, but like he's like, let me not say too much because they're always watching. They're always ready to pounce on Arsenal, anything that we do. Yeah. It doesn't matter if we're playing well or not, until like we win a trophy, like a big trophy, they always have something to say. So he's trying to not give them that much to say. And not just with our play, because I feel like our play has always been good. We just need to be more defensively solid.
We've got that now.
Yeah, exactly. And we got that now. But like him bringing in these big, strong men, yeah, that whole Arsenal's weak, they like to like fall down and do nonsense thing. That shit is dead. Like dead.
Who were you guys like top performers? I'll go with mine first. I feel like
in this game.
Yeah, in this game, I feel like mine were probably in no order. Were Raya, Saliba, both our centre backs, to be honest, they were great. I want to say Havertz as well. I want to give our midfield, especially the two deeper ones, credit as well, just as a unit. They weren't really troubled. People weren't running off them in general. But I'd probably say those were the players that stood out for me most today. Quiet game from Saka, but he got an assist, man. So,
it's consistent.
I think Havertz was great, Gabriel was great, Ryan was great, but it's criminal we haven't talked about Jurgen Timber yet. He was fucking phenomenal. He was so good.
So good.
Fully locked it down, defending, and was just like so physical. They could not get by him. And then it's just like so efficient with the ball, and like so. He runs with the ball like a winger, which is something I feel like you don't see from fullbacks very often. And he was so good today. We cannot go this entire episode without talking about it.
Well,
when you just say we cannot go without talking about it, all I can think about was that pet meme where he goes, "We cannot replace him." We cannot replace him. I agree.
Now, I remember not too long ago, how many weeks in the winter season? 4 weeks in the season. I remember not so long ago, I had him in our first 11, and some people can't remember what they looked like, or what they said. Some people said, "Yeah, I don't know about that." I definitely think the handsome boy gets a nod over him, and I just want to say I feel very vindicated because while I know what Calafiori brings to the team, Arteta is a man of many things, but I genuinely feel like he's a man of fairness and principle, and he just hasn't got a chance to see Timber actually, produce what he thinks he can produce, or give him enough rope to essentially hang himself. Sorry for the grim imagery, but you get
you almost lost me there.
You know what I mean, though, in the sense that you give these players enough chances, and then obviously if they're not up to it, they're out the door. Basically, he did it with Ramsdale. He's done it with a few players, kind of thing. But I definitely do think Calafiori definitely has a future in this team, like in the near future as well, to be honest. But I think Timber, to me, was always going to be starting over him in the initial stages, at least, anyway. So
listen, I got jumped the other day for saying this, but I really do believe like there's going to be some games that Ben White just doesn't play. I think Calafiori is going to be playing on the left-hand side and Timber's going to be on the right. And I think if everybody was fit and like already, like if this game was further down into the season and everybody was integrated into the team already, I think that Ben White would have been on the bench. I really do. Because he just always has a torrid time against Son and like wingers like that. Not that he's not good. He'd probably come back into the team after that. But yeah, I really, really like Timber. I mean, he's just so good. Like watching him, you could tell that we really, really missed him last season for sure. But yeah, I'll say my man of the match since we're gonna get to it. Obviously my man of the match is Gabriel. That's obvious. I am also wearing his kit. I know you guys can't see the back, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. But other than Gabriel, it would be between Timber and Raya and Havertz for like who was really, really good. All three of them were really, really good. Raya had some really good saves. He's had an amazing start to the season so far. Timber, we already talked about. And Kai was just like the unsung hero today. He did exactly what you want to do I know he wasn't technically playing the position. He was like swapping with Trossard. But he is exactly what you want from like a Swiss Army knife. He can play left weight. He can play right 8 if you want. He can play center forward. Like he was everywhere. And he was like really, really holding the ball up well as he always does when we need to get out of trouble. So yeah.
Yeah, there's his plays today remind me very much of a striker that has given us a bad day a few times, but it was very Diego Costa like. He won pretty much all these duels in the air or on the floor, and he was physical as hell. At points he was battering both their centre backs, and I really, really enjoyed that from him, for sure. We got to see the baby, in the North London derby. It was forced. It was forced through a Saka injury. Arteta said in his post match as well that he doesn't know what's happening. Yesterday he said he can't continue, and that was it. But we got Waneri on, and we also got Jesus and Sterling, which is a substitute from 2021 from Man City.
I was begging for it. I was begging for Sterling. But, get the Jamaican on the pitch now.
But Mitch, does that excite you, the fact that we went to Spurs 1 and then we're able late in the game to bring two absolute grenades in Sterling and Jesus off the bench.
It's kind of funny. Sterling and Jesus were not very good.
Yeah.
It were not great cameos from them, but it's also very forgivable. We were winning the game. It was not the game state for him. Ethan, however, looked fantastic. Did not look phased one bit that he was coming in 1-0 up in the North London Derby for his first appearance of the season. And just fully, players can look good at preseason all they want. If you come in a big game and you're cruising on the ball and looking like not a 17-year-old making his third Premier League appearance, that's impressive. And I'm very, very excited to see more of him. And that's got to be a good inclination of hey, this was kind of a forced into making this sub. But now we've seen it. We've seen physical evidence of him coming in a big game. I feel like a serious sub or a start is not too far away for Ethan Winieri, which is very, very exciting.
I knew we would see this from him. I knew we would see this from him. I was wanting him to be brave. I was like, please put Ethan in the lineup. I need to see this because I just know when you come from Haaland, you know what it means to play against Spurs. You can see it with ESR, you could see it with Osaka. I was like, yeah, he's the next one up. I can feel it already.
Yeah, I think that my probably favorite moment of the entire game, more than the goal, was him completely deleting Sark. It was just, it was so rude, and it was just I know he's chuckling.
Get out the way, bozo.
Yeah, I know he's chuckling to himself right now, just thinking about it. But yeah, I think another really nice detail of it is the fact that he came on, and Jesus immediately said to him straight, "No, you go up front. Let me go on the wing and actually defend straight away." It was a quick conversation, and I'm not 100% sure that even came from Arteta, but it's nice to know that our players recognise, where there may be a frailty, and it's just innate. It's ingrained in them that let's actually do this, and it's it's almost it almost goes against the what do you call it? It goes against the narrative that Arteta turn these guys into robots and they can't think for themselves, or whatever, blah blah blah. That was something that was done on the fly, and it helped. But yeah, look, we beat Spurs again 3 years in a row. Normal service has pretty much resumed, although Arsene Wenger never managed to do that. Look, we've got a huge week coming up. I suppose I'll go to you, Gabby, first. But what game would you be happier with drawing?
The City game. I don't care. I know that's controversial to say. I don't give a fuck. I'm
what the fuck are you talking about? What? What the fuck are you talking about? What?
I'm okay with us drawing that City game. I don't give a fuck.
Atalanta, who cares?
I want us to win that game. Fuck that, because we don't have any pedigree in the Champions League, and I want us to play well.
I don't fucking care.
I want us to play well. I need us to win those games. I want us to actually show some gumption or I want us to be a big boy in the Champions League this year. I'm not saying we're going to go win, the Champions League or anything like that. I'm not even saying we're going to get to the final, but I would like to see us get to at least a quarterfinal or semifinal. That's what I want. I want us to get to. I know we can beat City. I don't really care about beating City. If you go to the Etihad and get a draw, whatever.
What?
I don't give a fuck. I don't care. I don't give a fuck.
I have to hear what Mitch has to say, because this is incredible.
It's fucking Atalanta in the first game of the Champions League.
Yeah, and it was just Sporting 2 years ago, and it was just Porto last year.
That's a fucking knockout game. This is a fucking fake ass group stage of a fake Champions League where we're playing 7 games or something. I don't give a flying fuck. We could fucking lose against Atalanta if it meant we beat City. I don't give a shit. I do not. I may not buy Paramount Plus in time to watch that game. Who fucking knows? All I care about is beating City. I care about that fucking way more. What? Holy shit. I think I would take a draw at the Etihad, but if we're talking in this hypothetical world of one of these games we're going to draw, which one would you rather be? Atalanta, without a fucking doubt. We're going to fucking Italy for this. I don't give a shit. Fucking lose.
So Mitch, is it fair to assume that you don't like Man City?
Yeah, I think it's fair to assume. Yeah. This isn't even I don't like Man City. This is they are our main title rivals. If we could beat them at the Etihad in September, that's huge.
I mean, yeah, of course. I'm not saying that I wouldn't want to win. Of course I want to win that game. But if I choose to, like, if you're gonna draw one of those games, I'm like, you know what? I don't really give a fuck. Honestly, because winning against City last year at home meant nothing. Like, who knows if we win this game against City and we lose the game at home, like, or we draw the game at home. Like,
I think
at the end of the day, I don't put stock in that quote unquote title decider against City. I'm sorry, it just doesn't matter to me. We have to win our other games.
There's longer term more positive longer term ramifications of us beating City than us beating Atalanta.
Yeah.
Like this fake Champions League stage or whatever the fuck it is, it's all, none of it matters. Like, I truly don't give a flying fuck, and I care way more against in a big league game against City.
Yeah,
100%. I don't know. I just feel like that you have to beat your rival at their stadium to win the league is just like false, because we know for a fact that Klopp has never done it. Like,
I'm not saying we need to win this game to win the league, but I'm saying I care way more about this game next weekend than I do in the Champions League, or first game in the Champions League.
I'll interject and I'll say that just on both sides, getting off, because we have essentially 7 chances. Well, not 7 chances, but you've got 7 chances after this one on Thursday against Atlanta to really, get a good, I suppose, seed in for the knockout stages. It's not, in the immediate future, it's not as crucial, but I do genuinely think psychologically for the City game, Arsenal winning that game, I think it could be huge for us psychologically. Put it like this: we beat City last year, and then for the rest of the season, I think we dropped points in 3 games. I think 3 or 4 games after we beat City. It was we dropped points against Villa.
When did we beat City in November?
October. So
the Fulham game. No, the Fulham game was before that. I think the West Ham game.
Yeah. So basically between
West Ham,
after that game, it was Fulham, West Ham.
Yeah, but see, that's what I mean. Yeah, that like beating City like last year. I know it was like a yay, we did it. Like, we can do it. But like we also lost the games that we were not supposed to lose, which is more important.
Yeah, but again, you have to remember that these players knew that and took the belief with them. And then what happened when we hit January was we hit a level that I frankly haven't seen at Arsenal in such a fucking long time. And I feel like all these little things matter. Atalanta, don't get me wrong, big for me. It's still it's Champions League, love Champions League, and it's a big game, and you want to get a good start. But I won't be mad if we draw that game and we get 3 points against City. That's the way I look at it. But I will say we can't lose against City. I personally just don't want to lose against City. Like, it's boring. We've lost against City.
I don't think so many
times. We just can't lose against City. It's that simple.
Yep. I do agree with, but I always agree with that on any team, no matter who it is. Like, if you're not gonna win, you can't lose. Sorry, like you got to get the draw there. I don't care if you can't win. You just cannot lose. It's too important. The points are too important, and we've already dropped points, and we know for a fact we're gonna drop points again to whoever.
Yeah, I mean, well, I think that's where we'll wrap it up. Yeah, Arsenal beat Tottenham, man, and it's just, I wouldn't say it's boring. It's always fun to beat those fuckers, but yeah. Any last thoughts for you guys before we get?
Wait, don't we have 2 games before that City game?
No, we literally have Atlanta.
No, just Atlanta.
Oh, did we not have
we had the North London Derby. I don't know if you remember that one. It was kind of a long time ago.
I'm not even joking to you. When I was looking at
the game is after City.
Yeah, the Bolton game. That's what I was thinking about.
It's after,
I was like, we have 2 games this week. 3 games this week.
No, it's Bolton.
We do?
No, it's Bolton. The week after.
Okay, the week after. Okay. I was like, we have like a million games in the next 2 weeks, and I was like, this is a lot of minutes in our legs. So
we're going to see the
draw against City. It's kind of whatever.
Gonna get a lot. We might even see Lewis Skelly as well, to be honest. So
I hope we do.
I hope Ethan starts against Atalanta.
We do.
Yeah,
I hope he does too. I would love to see it.
Okay. All right, guys, this has been great. Tottenham suck. Arsenal the best team in the world. We'll catch you guys after City. So take care. Peace.
Yeah. Peace.
Peace.
Take your shirt off. Take your shirt off.